Okay, we're going to look into an issue here with OnScale Solve where you import your model and you get a whole bunch of little random tidbits of your model. You don't really get a bridge. So what you do get appears to be these little intersections of dowel, not dowel, of straw, and they're there. They kind of look like little rounded off diamonds. So where those are coming from, we'll look at this project here. This is a student volunteered their project to solve this. Where they're coming from are these intersections here. I've hidden a few things so we can see it. They're these little kind of little intersection, and it's some artifact of the Boolean that we're using to merge everything. So it's creating this. It might be a bug in OnScale Solve. We can find that out. Right now I've found a workaround. That actually, what's not great about our model is, this is not really how things are put together. These don't overlap in the real world. So it's not a great model anyway, so I think the way we're doing it can change slightly. We can talk about other ways to improve upon that. All of it, of course, requires more time and effort. So the way I'm going to show you is it's a way that doesn't require too much time and effort. I'm going to do it on my little sample here. This is what it's going to look like when we're done. So what we're going to compromise is the model's going to have a little less weight. The way OnScale Solve is doing this with a very coarse mesh, it's not really giving you much information about this joint here. If we put a very fine mesh on here and looked at this, it would find some problems with it. Clearly that's not a great way to connect your straws, but you have enough overlap there that the numerical model will just look at this as one solid piece, and you'll kind of get the pictures that I want you to get. So how do we do this? It's not difficult. Here's what you would start with. It would be as you're doing the beams. One nice thing is you do not need to trim down your construction lines. It'll use these full construction lines because basically we're going to trim off the beams right at the end of these two faces. You can get fancy and trim them off further down. There's really no reason to do it. It's not changing the model. But if you were able to create a plane at this junction point, this one does not have overlap in it. I can go add some. You'd have to create a plane at the intersection of those points. Not necessary, in my opinion, at this time. So what we want to do is add a beam. I've suppressed my model all the way back here, or I've done the rollback bar. The rollback bar is always at the bottom here. Just drag it up. It takes you back in time. This sketch 2 we really don't need anymore in this example. The transforms are where I've taken my original nodes and put them where they belong. So we'll start right after that with the beams tool. So we're going to pick our custom profile, which is right here. And so we have a beam. It's going all the way to the center. So was a problem before, not a problem anymore because we're going to trim it. So planar faces, I tried parts. Parts do not seem to work. It does not seem to want to trim our pieces. Maybe because we're not fully covering. I'm not sure. I played around with that. So let's do planar faces. Planes will cut it. Any plane, this is a plane, we'll cut it at that point. So there we go. Cuts it there. And we'll grab this one here, and it cuts it there. You can do this. It will work. It's a little finicky when you do all of your beams in one beams tool, but it's definitely the way to go. So we'll just keep adding these beams. So lines are arcs. I pick that, and that. And notice it's adding some of them, not all of them. That's because it does need to get all these faces in there. It does not like having only a few of them for some reason. So there we go. And we'll add this one here. And here we go. That one's there. It's putting them all in. There is a caveat. You need to follow the specs on how far apart your nodes are from each other, or the ends of your straw tabs, because there's a minimum for that. And the beams tool it needs that. Somehow I clicked on the plane, which I hope it did not. Yeah. Anyway, it didn't pick that up because it doesn't like that. Here we go. And here we go. Here we go. And this one here should give us the last one. Okay, so notice it's made made everything we need to do. And now we just put it together with a Boolean. Boolean doesn't have any issues because there's no overlapping straws. We just click them all. It just puts them together end to end. And we're down to 2 parts. If you don't know which one you're missing, you just hover over it. Oh, I'm missing this one. Now I've got 1 part. All right, so that is our single half bridge, and it does actually work pretty well. Now the caveat is that the distance between your nodes, I have violated our spec here, but this should be 35 minimum. I am thinking of lowering that. 20 seems to work. I think I might lower it to 20. I notice 15, 1.5 centimeters does not work. You lose your beam there. So don't do that. Use the spec, which I'll up to 20. It did seem like it does vary sometimes, but 20 works. I'm not exactly sure what sets that minimum for the beam tool, but right now we have it working for what we want to do. If you continue, look, I think my transform should work just fine. Oh, no, they didn't. Anyway, you'll have to fix your other transforms, but that'll get you started. All right.